You are my guest. I think that would be the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Live on Facebook, live on LinkedIn.
And popping your cherry.
You are popping my cherry. Again, I don't know how we could possibly pop cherries twice, but it seems to work. Good afternoon to those of you that are following on... Gosh, it just popped up on my LinkedIn, popping cherries with Tyson. I'm just like, LinkedIn. Probably could have used a different one for LinkedIn. So this is probably... I guess if you haven't been following along, I have been working on a studio here in Cavan. Tyson's down here for a bit of a visit. I don't know if you can expand on your reasons for being here. And I was like, hey, we should do a podcast while you're here. We've just finished a Lawn Hub Live and we're working on a new title. This is Conversations with Clint. Tyson's my first guest on this podcast. And I guess in a beautiful twist, Tyson was the first guest on The Craft, which is a podcast that I did 4 years ago, which had about 6 episodes. And I had to stop because it was just getting out of control. Every guest and I would just be wrecked the next day. So thank you for saying yes. During that last podcast, we talked about you hosting me and you were actually going to buy real craft beer and actually get limiteds. So we're not going to do what we did last time and just drink 7 beers, but I have got a bucket of beers here, which are more in line with Tyson's palate from then and both of our palates now. So I'll grab you an entry-level beer.
An entry level, you reckon?
Plus the weakest beer in the box, I reckon.
Yeah.
What's this one? 6.6%?
Yeah, 6.4. Nice little audio.
Yeah, sorry for those listening there. So if anyone's interested in asking Tyson a question, please comment on the live with your question. We've already got comments.
Cheers.
What craft beer? Okay. So do you want to talk about the beer? Yep.
The beer is Floating on Green, Citra. It's from Range Brewing. It's my favourite brewer in Australia. Probably equal favourite in the world with Other Half in New York for those that are playing at home. It's an oat cream IPA, 6.4%. Light beer for those that drink craft beer. Heavy beer for those that drink piss like Great Northern. Yeah, there we go.
So I'm just tagging you in the live, I think, trying to. So if you obviously...
Do you want to cheers me first? Maybe?
Cheers, man.
There you go. All right.
Thank you for doing this.
All right, into the show.
So Tyson touched on this on his Instagram, that he's doing this podcast for me because of my desire to be in front of people and that he generally wouldn't be in front of people. I can't tag you. If you want to share it on your LinkedIn, Tyson, you can if you want. So Tyson and I met at a dinner 5 years ago, thereabouts, which was a Gary V dinner. Gary used to do series of dinners where you could pay money and go have dinner with a group of 10 to 12 people. I think we had 10 there. And we kind of just clicked afterwards, had a beer and have become really good friends. And whenever he's down here in South Australia, we'll catch up and I don't go up as much as I should. But if I'm in Queensland, we'll try and catch up.
I don't have a family and you have a family, mate. It's all right.
So I don't want to tell Tyson's story. I'll let Tyson tell his own story. He's just cracked me for that one before. So for people that are tuning in that don't have any idea, can you just, I guess, give us the 5 minutes on the 10 years? I know that's a short amount of time, but the 10 years that led up to your recent...
5 minutes.
Well, you can have
That's
10 minutes.
That's too much time.
Okay, 2 minutes. Give us the...
No, it's all right. So I am from the Sunshine Coast in Queensland. I did Bachelor of Business, Bachelor of Science at uni because I didn't know what the hell I wanted to do. Then I did a Masters of Dietetics, became a dietitian, worked for a bunch of people, then started a couple of companies. But my biggest one and the one that took off was called Fuel Your Life. I started that in October of 2016. Then that grew astronomically, really, not seen in the dietetic industry prior. So within 12 months, we became the biggest private practice that Australia's ever seen. And then we continued to build year on year. It was 800% growth in the first 18 months. So it was nuts, traveling everywhere in the country. Continuing to build the team. And yeah, seeing more clients everywhere in Australia. We ended up, finishing up when someone decided they wanted to buy us in November 1st of 2022. And yeah, we finished with the business still goes now, but I finished with over 250 locations, and we topped up at about 65 staff. So it kept me busy for a few years, and now figuring out what else I can do with my life. There's the 2 minutes.
It's good. I'm going to just have a quick squiz.
You're just like doing other shit while you're...
Instagram. I just wanted to share the posts on the live. Doing this lives as much as a test as anything else, just to see if it gets more reach. And as I said to you before the start of the podcast, I don't know how many people are going to be comfortable live.
Yep.
So I appreciate you doing it live. We might not do the next ones live. Got a couple of questions through on the gram. Zach Walsh.
Hello, Zach.
He would like to know Pepsi Max or Macca's Coke.
Oh, he knows where to hit me because he knows my favorite drink. Because Zach, for those that are playing at home, used to work for me. He's HR guy. If you need some work done, hit him up on the Instagram. Just find him in the comments.
@_Zach.Walsh_.
Yeah, he won't like that, but go on LinkedIn, find him there. But Macca's Coke when those plastic straws. But every single day I would be drinking 1.25 Pepsi Max. Easy. No problems. No questions asked.
Full strength Coke at Macca's?
Full strength
like
Coke.
sugar Coke?
Yeah, but I wouldn't drink it often. But it's just like, if I feel like I'm getting run down, now this is not dietetic advice.
We're not talking
felt
about
like
that. I told you I wasn't going there.
Yeah. But if I felt run down, I'd get a large quarter pounder meal with a large Macca's Coke, drink it out of a plastic straw. But now, since no plastic straw, no Macca's Coke.
Interestingly, a Alex McKenna.
Okay.
What's overrated and underrated when starting a business?
Okay. Alex, hello, Alex. Also ex-staff member.
I think there's more people that like you responding to this.
Well, look, you're welcome.
New audience, thank you.
So overrated. So in starting your own business?
In starting your own business, hang on, I'll go back. I'll get you the exact one.
It's a good question, if it's what I said.
What's overrated and underrated when starting a business?
Overrated is people's sense that they're going to be free, that they're not going to have to do work, that they're not, that they get to set their own hours and do their own thing. Like, yeah, if you don't want to be successful, but I think the overrated part of the sell of what people sell as entrepreneurship or whatever is that you'll be able to set your own hours. And like, in reality, if you're going to build something that's really successful, like, you're going to have to work. And oftentimes an inordinate amount more than what you would working full time. Like, it was 100, 120 hours every single week. We built something huge and massive in a very short time frame, so you don't have to be that crazy, but there's work that goes into it. Underrated, I think for me, and Alex, you're a part of this as well, is the kind of impact that you might have that you didn't realize you might have when you first started on other people. So getting the opportunity to put yourself in a position to give other people the opportunities that maybe you didn't get when you were working, or just opportunities that that person wouldn't get because they're looked at in a certain way or treated a different way because of how they are. So I think that impact that you can have and how it makes you feel is an underrated part, which isn't really sold, because most entrepreneurship is sold on how much money you're going to make and the kind of lifestyle. But I like the feeling of then helping other people. I don't know whether that came from being a dietitian or wanting to do that shit. Honestly, don't think that. I like the science. I wanted to help people, but it wasn't about that. It was about the science. And then when with the staff, though, in the business, it was about the people. So as altruistic as that might sound.
Based on that, do you think you could have done the same thing as an employee?
What do you mean?
Running a dietetics business, but not your own. Like, obviously, you've definitely, like, you walk to the beat of your own drum, right?
Yep.
Which might be challenging for people in your industry, being that it's I'm
a tattooed, pierced, swearing male in a female-dominant industry that doesn't do those things. So
and that's probably a little bit more white collar than no collar.
Oh, very much.
And so with like, I guess the question's kind of like, if you were working for someone and had that freedom, you'd still scratch that itch.
I think I would have been fine working for people. The only reason why I started was just because I was sick of getting treated like a number.
Yeah.
I was frustrated by businesses' inability to see opportunity for change and how we could do things better. Instead, they were happy with the status quo, happy to continue doing the same shit they've always done, and versus trying to be better. And my personal philosophy of like more, better, always, forever is just like how I am. So I think I could do that if I work for someone. It would have to be a special human that respected that and was also, beating that drum. And then I'd be fine. Like, people don't think I could work for someone. It's like, I could. If you respect my knowledge, experience, and my input, or if you don't want to do what I said, that's sweet. As long as you give me reasoning. If you just go, nah, I'll be like, what? So, yeah, that would be my thing. Could I have built what I built with someone else? That would be dependent on how good that person was above me.
Yeah. I get the same. I get that sometimes from staff, like, oh, you can never work for someone. And I don't feel that that's true. I think that, again, with the right person, and even someone who's maybe a lot more further down the path than I am, I think I could benefit from working for someone and actually learn, you don't know what you don't know. And I've only grown to this. There's that. What is that? So you mentioned before that you sold, I guess, early or unexpectedly.
Mm-hmm.
There was never. So was it a case that you had no plan to exit? Like, you were happily growing your business, and you would have done so forever?
After the first year and how quickly we grew, and then some of the national business awards we won, then we got noticed by bigger companies that wanted to buy us. So I always told them to fuck off, because I'm like, what else am I going to do? I had no goal. There was never a goal to build a business, to sell it, to be free or anything like that. There was none of that ever. Not a single fucking moment. But we'd grown so quickly, built our team so quickly, invested in our team so heavily that they were all getting to a very high level that for me to be able to keep them all together, to be able to provide the opportunities that I needed to provide, to give them that opportunity to continue to succeed, I needed an immediate injection of work. We tried to get this huge tender, which was way bigger than what anyone would probably ever want to give us, but we could do it. And I had full faith in our ability to do it. But it was, without getting into the details, because probably can't, it didn't work out. We didn't get it. And at the same time, there was a company that was interested to buy. There was a few companies that were interested to buy, and went through that process and decided on a company that I felt had the best opportunity to provide more work the quickest, and who was, at least through the conversations that I had through that process, made me feel like the team wasn't going to be, like their knees cut out from under them to try and save costs, because the team meant the most to me, and that was the main reason why I was selling. And then, like personally, like through COVID, I probably took on too much mental health shit from other staff who were dealing with a lot through isolation, because we were national. So there was a lot of border issues, a lot of inability for us to continue to travel as much as we did. Like, I got locked down into quarantines like 6 times, like only one government, thankfully, but over that period, just because I was still trying to see the rest of the team and hold up my end of the bargain, basically. So
you were in the US at that point.
I was in the US during it, yeah. So I started a US corporation in the middle of COVID to go and work as a sports dietitian for the LA Sparks, which is a women's WNBA side that's associated with the Lakers. So, and I wasn't going to put anyone else in that situation, so I flew over there in the middle of COVID, which was an interesting experience. But
So if it wasn't COVID, would you have sent a staff member, or did you want to do it?
Oh no, like I think I still would have done it just because of the risk, the financial risk we were taking to try and open up America as a dietitian company in Australia. We're not even accredited over here to be a dietitian, but you could be a sports performance nutritionist and get away with it, because there's a lot of sports dietitians from Australia that are working with like the US Olympic team, US Paralympic team and stuff. So we could still practice in that way, but we couldn't do like the private health and Medicare and stuff that we do in Australia. Over here, we'd have to do a whole another group of study. But I could start a business and then hire American dietitians. But yeah.
Or ensure that the revenue stream isn't connected to the dietitianing, and you know what I mean. Like, if you have a big enough contract, and they're like, "That's fine, you're not being hired as that, you're being hired as this."
Yeah,
dancing a fine line.
Yeah, that's not a line that I generally dance. Yeah. So yeah, and if I'm opening up in America where people still, litigation is so huge, I'm like, nah.
So you mentioned before that you were looking for opportunity for the team. Mm-hmm. It's something I think about in my business. Was that a big part of? That was obviously a big part of the, I guess, decision to work with a certain buyer over a certain other buyer. Like,
yeah, I got offered way more money with other people, but I chose someone for much less, and meaningful amount. So, yeah, I guess that was just the right decision for me. And like, I didn't want, and I still don't, and I hope they don't feel this way, that I never want anyone to think that I just cut and run and cashed out, because that definitely wasn't the purpose of it. But yes, I wanted to get value for what we did and what we were, but I didn't sell to the highest bidder as a result of, I thought that they might be the ones to cut costs, and
well, like they're looking for an ROI quick, and you don't know. I guess the hard thing is
I don't know,
and the best decision, once it's out of your hands, it's not your...
Yeah, well, it's just like, I know forever and ever and ever it was the right decision for me to make at that time with the information that I had. And that's the way I've thought about every business decision I've ever made. I've never had regret around those decisions. It's just like, with the information that I had at my disposal, what I was able to gather, that was the best decision.
Yeah. The exit, I haven't been through an exit. Mm-hmm. Either I've obviously had an acquisition where I've bought something, but I've not sold anything.
Yep.
Did you have any preconceived ideas of how it would go that you were right about, and any preconceived ideas that you were wrong about, or things that kind of caught you out that you were like, fuck, I didn't think that was going to happen, or that was easier than I thought it was going to be? Like,
okay. Yeah, no, I had no fucking idea. I don't know anyone that like started a business other than you, like really, like, unless it's like really small. So I didn't know anything about what that would be, because I'd acquired a couple of businesses myself also, but we're not professional acquirers, and it's not at the same size and value of what this was. So I was undersold by the broker that dealt with the deal of like how many questions there would be and how long, because I knew it was a very emotional sale for me. So I didn't want to deal with it for a very extended period of time, because I chose to go through the sale not telling anyone that I was selling until I knew it was for real. And I always say this, like in business in general, like think of it like an Armageddon movie, where you don't want to tell the earth that a meteor is coming before you've got a plan to either divert it or prepare them. So yeah, I guess for me, the broker was like, all right, it'll probably take, 3 months to get the documentation ready for them to go to market. They go to market. That might take a month. Then you have chats with different people. You select someone, then you go through due diligence, and that due diligence might be 3 to 6 months. It was meant to be 3 months, but ended up being 6 or 7 months. And then they would ask 200 questions, but they end up asking like 380 questions or something. And when you're trying to work a full-time job, building a business at the same time, because you don't know if you're even going to sell it, while also trying to deal with another full-time job, gets pretty intense. So thankfully I got to a point in the business where I'd given a lot of rope to a lot of staff to be able to pretty much run it. And I was just in for the big shit and then dealing with the sale. But then telling your staff is the fucking worst part. It was worse for me because I was so emotionally invested in them. So like that fucking sucked. That was really hard for me to do. I told all my managers first because the acquirer wanted to have conversations with senior leadership as the last part of due diligence, but that was meant to be the last week of due diligence, but ended up extending another month after that, which that really probably hurt my team, I feel, reading between the lines, is that because they didn't know, because it was up in the air then for a month. Instead of a week being up in the air, it was up in the air for a month. So,
As in, they were told that there's likely to be an exit.
well, yeah. So I had to tell them, it's like, hey, I've chosen to sell. There's this person that is interested. They're going through due diligence. The last part of the due diligence is talking to the management team, just ask questions, whatever. And then I was on the call with all of them. They'd ask whatever. I was just there just in case they asked anything inappropriate.
So you'd protect the team.
Yeah.
Yep.
Fuck yeah. And then protect the rest of the team. And thankfully, like, a lot of the people were like, oh, do you think they're going to tell anyone? I'm like, no, my team,
No
my
leakage.
management team, no. Like, trust. There was no leakage. None. Definitely not to my knowledge to this date. But yeah, I'm pretty sure none of them told a single soul. Like I said, reach out to another manager if you want to talk about it. You can talk to your partner, but just make sure it's like lock. So, yeah.
That obviously, that was probably the hardest. Like you've expressed that, like the leaving, not leaving your team behind, but like
Yeah, leaving my team.
as bad as it sounds. I don't want to make it sound like if you're copping, even if it's just in your head, if you feel like there's heat about what happened, I don't want to throw more hate on it.
Yeah.
Can you take positives out of it? Like, obviously, you'd hoped to give them opportunity. You've obviously you're in a different position now, I guess, time-wise, financially.
Yep.
What can you take positives out of the exit?
No.
You'd rather go back? Would you swap it all? Would you swap it all back now if you could?
Oh, no. It was still the right decision. Like I said just before. It's just like, I don't regret decisions. It was the best decision that I made with the information I had at my disposal at the time. I still think that they have more opportunity to get more work in a greater scale to get that team going. I still think that there's that opportunity. And then for me personally, obviously that's a great situation to be in at, 36. But tell you what, midlife crisis comes pretty fucking quick when you've been working that much every week and then you got nothing. But yeah, because it was never a goal, it was never a goal to sell, it was never like a celebration. I remember when the money hit my account and I was with Peter, who was my right hand through it, and it was more like a feeling of loss, not a feeling of gain. So that was telling to me of how I felt about it, but I wouldn't say I felt bad. It was just like, yeah, emptiness. Welcome to emotion.
What if obviously there's
Whereas other people will be ecstatic, fucking over the moon,
It's
loving
interesting
life.
because I think it really depends on your reason for selling. And
Yeah, I think if it was my goal, it'd be like, fuck yeah, made it, did it.
I still think at a young age, there's probably some, what do I do now? And I've heard other entrepreneurs on podcasts kind of like say the sale goes through and they'll just be on their own and they're in a hotel room and they're just like, well, what do I do now? Like, what? I guess two questions. What did you do next? Like, what was that first week or month like? Of like, no more email. I mean, how many? You're getting hundreds of emails a day. I'm guessing.
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
Phones, messages, all that just stops effectively.
Yeah.
And then I think my computer's gone flat. That's what they're dealing with. And then so what did you do? Did you have a plan for that, or you just kind of caught you out?
I don't know if I had a plan necessarily.
And
Ish.
And would it be a good plan for other people if you're advising them to have a plan for what happens after you sell?
I kind of did if I'm reflecting. It's just like I resigned from the CEO role in February. I had to give 3 months notice. I gave my notice when I was overseas in New York, when I just got offered by Gary Vee to come through his business after I sell.
So this is the first New York. This was traveling to New York, not living in New York?
Yeah.
Yep.
So that was in February of 22. No, February of 23, after I'd sold in November 1st of 22.
Yep.
And then that's when I chose to resign from my CEO role and then left the company. And then I'd booked New York for later that year. So after I finished in May, I already knew that New York thing was going to happen.
So you basically sold the business and would have had a job for a period.
No. I was a CEO. Yeah, I was an employee
to
as the CEO after sale till, it was meant to be till June.
So the demand would still be there. at that point you're getting emails and
Yeah. Till the end of May, and then
Then it stops.
then it turns off.
Yeah.
because you don't have it anymore, don't have access. And I had to manually get all that and have the the turn and everything off was pretty brutal.
you had
But
to turn yourself off.
yeah,
So they don't have an IT company come in and go, we've just removed your password.
I
You're
knew how to do every single thing in my fucking company, and no one else bloody
yeah.
took. Yeah,
So you can get someone else to create the password for that account and you're out.
I just forwarded the email,
Oh,
and
the
then I
password.
just deleted it off my
God.
computer and my phone. Yeah, all my computers and my phone. Yeah,
Yeah.
because if I still had access, I'd still be looking at it.
Yeah.
So if someone else wasn't gonna, if they were gonna take a week to do it, I would have been still fucking. If they were gonna take a month, I would still be doing it. So
And you'd be like, this needs to be addressed. This needs to be addressed.
yeah, so I just did it, removed it off everything, and removed the WhatsApp chat, which was our team chat for the whole thing. Removed all the individual groups.
Oh, because you've still got the same phone number.
Yeah,
Yeah.
had the same phone number since I first had a phone.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I have too.
yeah,
It's funny.
grade 11.
I
That's
don't
how
think-
old we are.
Well, I don't think I had a phone in high school. I'm
Yeah.
a bit older than that.
Yeah, but anyway, so my plan was New York, and I knew that I needed something to point to, because the worst part about the sell was more like everyone going, "What are you gonna do now? What are you gonna do now? What are you gonna do now? What are you gonna do now?" I'm like, I don't fucking know.
You kind of had a standard answer of I'm just going to take a period and
Yeah, well, I was just like, well, I'm going to New York at the end of the year. And then I applied for law after that, before I went to New York, because then, what are you going to do when you come back from New York? Oh, I've got a law degree I'm enrolled in. So it's just something to point to, because people want answers, because I've been doing all this shit, and they think I'm going to go do another thing or like start a business or whatever. But I knew mentally that I needed a break from not doing it, and don't jump straight into something, because I'll go fucking hard again. So the New York thing was like, well, I can't start a business now because I'm going to New York for 3 months, and that will just be a bad interruption. So try and do shit. So I did life admin, basically. I remember cleaning out my pantry in the first week, cleaned my house, did all that. Hadn't done that for years. That took a week. And then it was just, life admin shit. Caught up with some people who were still in the company throughout that time, just to stay in contact a bit more as friends than boss. But yeah, surfed, played a bit of Xbox, got good at COD again. But yeah, didn't really do much. Very different. Watched some fucking episodes of shit, but then it gets boring. It's boring. Especially when no one else is retired.
yeah, I had a similar experience, probably 33, more than 36, but I don't know, the business got to $3 million and I was like, fucking bowler, I'm going to retire, let the business run under management. And it was about 60 days and I was going to get down to a single figure handicap, which is not me. And I just realized that everyone else that was retired was 70. And yeah, I mean, that's cool. You learn a lot of stuff from 70-year-old people, but all my mates were like, no, I got to work, man. I got to work, especially if your friends aren't business owners. It's now, I've got a group of friends that are now probably in a position where they can be a bit more flexible with their time. Other business owners, but you don't need to stop running a business to do that.
Yeah.
You can just go do stuff. So, so based on that, obviously, it doesn't make sense that you're not going to do something again at some point.
Yeah, I don't know. Just figuring it out. Maybe I do.
Yep.
Maybe I don't. Maybe I work for someone. Maybe I just consult the businesses and help them fucking do shit. Because
Yeah.
I enjoy business. I know I enjoy business. But I like figuring shit. I'm good at operations, I'm good at people, and I'm creative around strategy and different markets and stuff. So I know I can help a lot of businesses, but it's just like I also will never want to be called a business coach ever in my entire life. I hate selling, like in terms of selling yourself and that kind of shit. I'm not into it. So the limit on that's going to be, because of me.
I watched our last podcast. I had it just playing while I was driving. I didn't watch it. I listened to it. And I think there was a term in that podcast that you're like, I fucking hate that term, whether or not it was like influence. Well, it wasn't influencer, but it's similar to that business coach. And I hate that these words get...
Or entrepreneur.
Yeah,
I used to hate.
it's just like, fuck.
Because every single
we can't
person
use it.
who was,
Yeah, got an Instagram handle, entrepreneur.
Yeah. And in the US, like calling yourself an entrepreneur is normal, so it's fine. Here, you're a dickhead. Like,
I'd like to explore the US I've read the first 3 lines of a lot of your Instagram, your LinkedIn posts, and the last 3 lines of your last LinkedIn
Yeah,
post.
you'll listen to a fucking 3-hour Joe Rogan podcast, but you won't read your mate's bloody 30-second LinkedIn post.
If you had an hour video, I'd watch the whole thing. I don't know. I think it's a limiting belief. I keep telling myself that I'm not good with email, but actually when I sit down and do it, I am. I just don't. I get agitated and I feel like I'm wasting time. Whereas when I'm listening, I'm driving or whatever, and I know if I can email while I'm driving, I'd be all right. But that's not against the law. Anyway. So you there's a couple of US things. Obviously, you spent time in New York, like in some people's opinions, the center of the world. Mm-hmm. And I think you posted something around it giving you a good understanding of where you fit in and like where your skills kind of fit in. Can you expand on that and just explain to the audience what that means?
I guess the big thing for New York for me was a few things. Was just one, figure out what, because Gary Vee is someone that I'd followed since before Fuel Your Life started. And I liked him because he swears, he's successful, and he doesn't wear a suit. And I just aligned with that, and he talked about people the same way I thought about people. So it was never a goal to be Gary. I just felt like I was like a lot of aspects of him. So I had the opportunity, thankfully, to build a relationship over years with my company, with different people in his company, and then got given the opportunity. So I wanted to just see how that business run, around culture, around operations, around the different teams of businesses. How do they think about things? How does the office work? And like in the first couple of weeks, they try to like tee up a lot of interview, like one-on-ones with different people. And like, that's useful in a way, but like I get way more from just seeing. So like, I like just watching, like fly on the wall shit. And I'll see like the group dynamics. I'll see how a meeting is run and who doesn't like each other and who has the amazing internal culture team and who needs some work, etc. So like, I loved that. And then the big thing for me was, seeing where I sit in the world. Like I run my own thing. So I don't know if my skills are good or not. Yeah, we got success, but like, I don't know. Was that just fucking fluke? Was it just, I know it's not fluke. Like I know I did a lot of good things.
There's no rankings.
But there's no,
Like in sport, if you won state, you won state.
Oh, I won dietetics. Dietitian companies come for me. I beat you. But like,
starting to see why we get along so well.
Yeah, like, and that's fine. But like, it wasn't really about them to begin with. I just wanted to help more dietitians get more dietitians in jobs, and I just wanted to grow because of that. Because I needed to be able to get more dietitians or get people to salaries that are more respectable in general human life, because dietitians make jack shit most of the time. And in private practice, you make nothing. So like, I wanted to continue to build a company that was built different, but felt good, and they got paid. So anyway, I wanted to see where I sat in the world, because I didn't know outside of dietetics where I sat. Am I a good operator compared to other operators? Am I good at leading a culture compared to other people who build a culture? I didn't know. Turns out I'm not too bad. I ranked pretty well. So in my little knowledge of what happened, but just from different aspects and just my insights into what I learned, I'm in a good spot. I've got a lot of skills that are able to be used and used at a high level. So it was good for me, because I haven't been able to rank myself against an individual really before. So it was good. It was weird, but like,
So
other people are like, how the fuck did you do that? It's like, I don't know. I did it.
Well, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I know. But like, it helped me.
It helped you. And I think that's, I think that the first podcast we did, it was very early in my podcasting, I don't want to say career, because it's not a career, but journey. And
popping the cherry of that career today.
Yeah. And live podcasting. You're like a radio host. I want to make sure that I'm bringing value to the audience, and obviously letting you tell your story. And I think that it's interesting, because in Australia, especially, and most of the audience is going to be in Australia, we just see the world through the lens of, this is our world. This is the whole world. And until you start traveling to other countries and experiencing that, you don't really know. And I do think that I think Australia bat above their average, and they do in sport. I mean, for the population, we do really well. So I think it only makes sense that we do in business, and whether or not that's cultural or whatever, I don't know. So what's the process look like? Like, obviously, Gary doesn't do this for a lot of people, right? Like, this is, you can't just fucking rock up and like PayPal your fucking money and you walk in and you like get to sit on the fence or whatever in the room. You kind of just walk around. They put you in a room. They give you, like, obviously you said you had people.
Yeah. So like,
and you just find a comfortable space.
yeah, I sat pretty much in Team Gary V. They sit outside Gary's office, behind his assistants and his chief of staff, who's now changed roles, and he's an exceptional human being, Marcus. Incredible skills as a human. Like, he's not a CEO in a company. So great get. And I think he's been with Gary for a very long time. So a lot of it's rubbed off. But he handled me, basically. He just said, all right, let's throw you into a bunch of different meetings. And then after that, it was just me hitting up different people like, hey, can I come have a look? And heaps of people were like weirded out and like, what? Is this like a plant? Are they like...
Oh, are you Gary's feedback?
Yeah. So there's a lot of that kind of thought process. And like, no, I'm just a random dude from Australia. And like every time it's like, oh, what's your story? And like, do you just get a job? I'm like, no, I'm just a random guy, long story, sold my company, I'm here. I didn't really say anything really big or grand because I'm just not that way inclined. But then other people that got closer to me over the time found out and like, oh, fuck.
Well, I didn't really explain why you were here. I sent out a Teams chat to 20 people saying that there'll be a random dude in the building. Just treat him kind.
Happy with that intro.
And don't offer him a coffee. That is it. Just be nice to him. Don't offer him any coffee.
So basically I just got put in a bunch of different meetings. Some were like very high level meetings. Other ones were like brainstorm sessions. Other ones you just randomly get a HR meeting that didn't plan on being a HR meeting. Like there was just like normal business shit.
It's interesting because from the time that I spent with Gary, which is a stupid sentence, dinner for a couple of hours, he builds trust with people very quickly. And so you're obviously exposed to some pretty confidential shit.
Oh, yeah.
And they're just like, no, that's fine.
I had an NDA.
But even then, an NDA is an NDA. But then...
Yeah, you got to trust. And like
the NDA is only as good as the hand holding the pen, right?
And like, I think it's just how I've always been with them forever. It's just like, I've found out heaps of random shit that I don't tell anyone. Yeah. It's just like...
because you won't get access to... Like, it's two sides. It's not you.
Yeah.
But also, you think you're ever going to get trusted by anyone again if you do something stupid like that?
Yeah. Yeah. So like... Yeah, no, I think that I'm very thankful for, that. And I asked him why in my one of my 7-minute meetings I had with him. And yes, actual 7-minute.
That's a long meeting.
Well,
with Gary.
I think that 7-minute meeting I did 6. And then I was due to have another 1-minute meeting because I asked for 1 minute and I got 3. So it worked out.
Yeah.
But
some other poor bastard got 4 minutes.
But like, he's a busy dude. But I asked why. Why me? Why did I get this opportunity? Because there's only one other person that I've been told that I'm aware of that has done what I've done and got given that opportunity. It's like, oh, and I thought you'd like it after our conversations because I talked to him before I sold my business about that when I was getting approached a lot. And then I told him, obviously, when it happened. So he'd kind of seen some of the conversations and learnt enough about me. And he's a very highly intelligent guy and in tune with people, I think. So I think it was just like that trust level of like, yeah, he's not going to fucking, do whatever. And like heaps of people in there.
Like he's not coming in to try and spite my
heaps of people
business.
in that company like were saying, like a couple of them said, like, are you like going to start your own media company or whatever? It's like, bro, no, like I'm just literally, I don't have any interest in media in general, to be honest. It's just I'm interested in the dynamics of a company, not the industry. So Gary definitely trusted me more than other randoms in the company that don't know me from a bar of soap. So I think it was just constant interaction over several years where you'll have like 20 minutes with him once a year when I go to New York. So like it's just over time. And then James Orsini, can't leave him out. He's exceptional human as well. Like I've had a great relationship with him for the last like 4 years.
It has to be 4-ish because I think you spoke about James when on our last podcast and you said that you can see you having, obviously it was a 3-year mentorship. I don't know what the right term is. But you said I can see my relationship lasting with people inside this business for the rest of my life. And I think that it's interesting because Gary Vee obviously becomes the figurehead of this massive business. But I've met, I don't know, 4 or 5 of the guys just through being around you at VCon, etc.
Yeah.
And they're all elite operators. Not all, like as in those guys are.
Yeah.
And in some cases, it's because obviously Gary's so busy and full on, you actually get when you can sit down to spend 4 or 5 hours with any of the other guys, they're as good as in their own chosen field or whatever. Yeah. I can only imagine some of the conversations you've had with the other team members and what people that you call friends now.
Yeah, well, like there's people that I know are going to do huge things. So I look forward to continuing the relationships as they grow because a lot of them are young. So they got a lot of
It's now just getting the war wounds and getting that time on the track.
Make some mistakes and figure out, how to build.
So did you go there like every day? Was it like a job or did you just
I went there
at some
every day.
point went, I'm going to stop now?
I went there every day for the first 2 weeks. And then after that was like 3-4 times a week for the next maybe two weeks. And the first 2 weeks was pretty much all day, every day. Just because I wanted to.
I reckon, you'd be like, oh my God, I'm here.
Yeah, I'm in New York.
Yeah,
So it's just like, I'm here for this, pretty much. So I was just like, I'm going to sit there. And so it was just, even though I didn't have a meeting, it's just good, like walking around, seeing different dynamics. Like I like people and psychology. So like, it was just of interest. But yeah, so I did that. And look, and one of the things I thought about was like, not many people are willing to do that. You know, like even before I, became a dietitian, I worked all up about 2 years worth of work experience before I even graduated. People aren't willing to go, and that's for free, like the work experience for free. Drive 2 hours, do 30 minutes, drive 2 hours home type shit. And people aren't willing to do that. And like I was willing after having a settlement, which means if I make good investment decisions, I never have to work again. And I'm willing to fly to New York and sit in an office full time, not getting paid, just looking.
Yeah.
I just flew to Adelaide to learn about your business,
which is pretty
about
much
products.
The same as being at
and so that, pretty much the same. Just slightly smaller scale.
We got microphones.
Yeah, but like it's just like people aren't willing to do those things to learn new shit or do like. I was kind of like proud of myself a little bit that I don't think I'm ever going to get too big for my boots type shit, that I'm still willing to feel like a child in a room. And that's what I said to a couple of people there. It's
I think it feels awkward if you don't, I don't know. For me,
but that's Australian culture though.
Yeah.
America, nah. I wouldn't, I can't get along with that.
That's another thing that you said that I remember you saying
on LinkedIn.
The way people introduce themselves.
Yeah.
And it's not, they're proud to be I had an exit and did this and
Yeah, I had an X-figure exit.
Yeah.
It only took me this long, fully bootstrapped, all my cash, knew 100%. Yeah.
Whereas you say that here, people are like, you're a fucking...
Yeah, you're a dickhead.
Yeah.
Yeah. And and that is what it is. It's just our culture, and tall poppy is real. And
New York being even more of that than say, and I know you've obviously spent a lot of time in LA and a little bit of time in
California.
Indianapolis.
I think it's just the American culture.
Yeah.
I think it's American culture. But I think, the further you go into countryside, people are going to think you're more of a dick.
Yeah. Well, he's
like,
from New
you're
York.
a city dude. Like, I don't see a farmer out in Texas probably telling people that. They probably say, I got 100 million head of cattle.
Yeah, it's the same
That's their thing.
Yeah.
So whereas here, you can't do that shit. But that it never made me feel comfortable. Because I sat in on a 4Ds, which is one of Vayner or Sasha Group or Vayner's like premier products, where they do a digital deep dive into businesses, and all the business people were introducing themselves. And that's what inspired that LinkedIn post, because one person just said, it's just like, oh, like, this is the company, this is how much it makes, single mum and breast cancer survivor. And it's just like, what? How is that useful to this conversation? Like, you're just talking about your business and introducing your business and what you do. Just do that. But she was looking for social recognition for the fact that she did it while doing those things. And when I didn't write what I wrote on LinkedIn, and people can go fact check me, I was like, oh yeah. So if I was to introduce myself in Australia, it's like, oh, I'm a dude, I built a national company or whatever. But in America, it's just like, did this, got this exit. Overcame lifetime of bullying and mental health. Like, it's just like, sound like a fucking idiot. Like, it's just like, I'm like,
Whereas
why are
over
you
there,
fucking
it's
telling
like-
me that, bro? Yeah, and it's like, oh, you're so amazing that you overcome those things. It's like, bro, we all got shit. And so like I don't care for anyone's excuse. It's just like you get dealt whatever you dealt. Everyone's got their own shit, and then you just work through it.
Yeah.
Like same with people. I'm not going on a rant, but like people talk about politics and all that shit. Like, I don't give a fuck. It's like whatever happens, I'll just deal with it. It's like, oh, what about tax? It's like, yeah, cool, but like I don't have control. Whatever happens, and I think that's entrepreneur mindset of like, well, I'll deal with whatever happens and how it affects me when it happens.
I see in my personal life people struggling with my lack of concern about something that hasn't happened yet. And they're like, well, what if this happens? And I'm like, I'm processing so many things at once. Maybe we'll cross that bridge when we get there rather than... I mean, I'm still thinking about it.
Yeah. You're always thinking
And
about it.
I'm almost, in some cases, pre-prepared for it. But I'm not going to send an email about it, or I'm not going to sit down and explain what will happen if it rains.
Yeah,
Like we'll fucking find an umbrella.
My
man.
favorite saying, and I think it's mine, is plan for devastating failure and overwhelming success. I think like in business, that's what you have to do. You always have to plan for the absolute worst thing to happen and plan for the best, overwhelming success. And you make sure your shit doesn't break if one of those things happen. But like worrying additionally about, oh, but what if, it's like fucking, we'll have contingencies. It's fine. But like, why are you caring about that? You got this to do.
It made me think of I used to say to people, if you have no expectations, you'll never be disappointed.
Yeah. But like it's like,
Yeah.
you got to expect that you're going to have, like, do what
Yeah.
I did and go 800% in 18 months. And you need to be prepared for that possibility. It's just like this lawn hub that you're going. It's like, all right, if you launch.
I don't know. Everyone's like, what's the plan? I'm like, well,
But like if you
I've
launch.
got a loose plan.
No, but if you launch and it goes 800x,
Yeah, we got to move.
like it's just, you have loose plans. I think any good entrepreneur has loose plans of things, but you don't overstress on those things. Because
If you sweat the micro, then yeah.
but you got to sweat micro when shit's happening. But like, it's just, I don't know.
Yeah, that's fair. I forgot what I was going to ask. There was something following. No, that's fine. I'm being very conscious to let you talk. You mentioned before that you're doing law. We signed up to do a law postgrad. You just mentioned that you're really interested in psychology.
Yep. That was the other one. I tried to do two at the same time. They wouldn't let me.
So they won't allow you to do a law degree and a psychology degree at the same time?
Can't sign up to two
Is
postgrad
that
degrees
pretty,
at the same time.
What, presumptuous that you're not smart enough? Or because they've seen too much failure, or you don't know?
No idea. Well, and then when they didn't let me do that, I tried to sign in for 6 subjects a semester for my law degree instead of 4.
To try and
they're
get
like,
it done
"No."
quicker.
Yeah, and they're like, no, I can't.
That's fucked.
Yeah, so I'm like, it's 7 hours of contact time. I'm like, fucking.
I can do
just
10 times that.
Yeah. I know, and I played my case. They're like, no, so
They'd let you do it in America.
maybe
They were like, yeah, we'll get it done. $350,000,
whatever
you want.
Yeah, it's just like, I'll give you the same amount of money. Just let me do it quicker.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, something for me to deal with if I choose to continue with law.
This is probably a question I already know the answer to, but what do you miss the most about being the owner and operator of a national dietetics business?
Purpose. It's people. Something to do.
Are you trying to, like, obviously you talked before about, say, consulting or not using the word consulting.
Yeah. Consulting I like. Coaching no.
Yep. Like walking side by side.
Yeah, but like I'd like.
Does that scratch the same itch?
Yeah, I think so because ultimately, so people think about me starting my own thing, and like I've got businesses still. I've got Dietitian Life. I've got this practice management software I built, but I'm not as passionate in building them anymore because all of those things were built for them. It was built for Future Life. It was built to make their lives better. So now that I don't have that, the motivation to continue to do those things is far lower. I could still help the dietetic industry. I could still do that, but then I'm disconnected to it. I don't have that human interaction. I don't have that feeling that I was getting or that I wanted from my staff. And then with consulting, it will be just about, I just want to help that person achieve their goal. And I can make that quicker, easier, more enjoyable for them, that'll be sick. And I get to see them happy. And like, I don't care if I'm behind the scenes and no one else knows, but that dude knows or that chick knows. Sweet. It's just like, oh, you want to achieve that? You want to buy that company, sell that, build it to this, create these operational documents that'll make your business fucking go way better. Cool. Let me go. Let me do it. Pay me for it.
What's that? Pay me for it. Yeah. Well, you can't not.
But yeah, and then like my preference is to share the upside. So it's just like, pay me a flat fee and then I'll share the upside.
Yeah, so this is where you're at now. If we get to here, I take a percentage of the upside. I was driving to work the other day and one of my staff called, and I don't get a call from them a lot, and I was like, fuck, this could be anything. And then my first thought was, I can pretty much handle anything they've got, right? Like I was barring a serious injury, death, which I still know what I would do. Are you at that point? And how long, if so, how long have you felt like that? Like it just doesn't matter what comes
Rephrase.
Rephrase
The question. Say it again.
If in business, do you feel that you're at a point where whatever is thrown at you, you can process the information and handle it straight away? Yeah. So I feel like I don't know when you know you're at that point. I feel like I'm at that point. I don't know when it happened and I don't know how to explain it or how to teach it or whatever. But I just think when you've seen enough stuff, and obviously you're learning new stuff now and you learned new stuff at Vayner, but you would have probably worked that out if you had to. Like if you're going to start a direct-to-consumer fertilizer brand, you go work it out.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's just more enjoyable.
Yeah. I don't know how to. I mean,
how to teach that.
Yeah,
I think it's just like you didn't need to live the life.
Yeah,
just like you're going to go through shit that you can never plan for, and you need to see what you're worth in those moments. It's just like it was some of the stuff that I was trying to build up, like, and one who Jess, shout out, who's now the acting CEO of Fuel Your Life, while another one's on maternity leave. Like I've said to her, and I've said to openly, and I'm going to say it openly again in the public, is like she'll be the best of us one day. She just needs more failures to see that she'll actually survive, to give her the confidence that she's going to absolutely friggin' murder it.
Which is just like
it's just experience,
basically.
Yeah, it's just experience. It's just like it's just knowing and having the confidence in the fact that you've survived all these things.
Yep.
So it's just like survived COVID is a huge one. Anyone that survived in the back of it, incredible. Like
the process of it,
the shit that you had to deal with during that time, the news that I had to stay up to date with, like every single day.
Well, you're in the health sector.
And health. Yeah. So like I had to do that every single day, be on that. And I was like telling on Dietitian Life, like this free social like support network for dietitians. Like I had to every single day updating the whole entire industry because my dietetic association is slow as fuck. And I would say all this shit a week ahead of anything that they did. And people were on that because they needed that. Yeah. So many businesses went under through COVID, whatever industry.
It was really interesting because a lot of the people that we deal with went the other way. And it was the most buoyant,
tech
which brings its own...
Shit. Yeah, and then brings other issues.
Because, you know, when you go,
then there's a reliance on you.
We're so busy. Oh, good problem to have. Well, not when you're letting people
Alcohol
down.
and tech.
Yeah. Well, I supported both.
Yeah, because people are at home. Now you're working remotely, so all the tech, and then you're drinking because you can.
Yes.
But I think it's just experience. It's like, when you've been sued or sued someone, that's a good one. You know,
I love the sentence when someone says, "You wait till you hear from my lawyers," and you're like, "It's usually a lawyer." And you know, if you say lawyers, you're like,
"Yeah, you don't have a lawyer. Yeah, you're gonna go Google one right now."
Yeah, that's right.
But
and they probably represent me, so you might want to call the next one.
Yeah, but like it's like those things, and where you know, and I think when you know you're doing the right thing at all times, those things don't even phase you.
I think about that.
I think the first Fair Work call that I had to do, like I was like a little bit afraid going onto it. Said everything. It was like Fair Work, like, "Oh, you're doing everything right. All right, cool." And the other person was like, "Oh."
Yep.
And then the next time it happened, I was like, "Yep." And they said it, and like, "Yep." And then like, "Oh, okay, you're doing everything right." It's just like
we had an audit, like a tax office audit, and had the same situation. I was just like, I don't know I've never done this before.
Yeah.
But whatever you need, I'll give it to you.
Yeah.
And it was because of that process, they were like, okay, everything checks out.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've been audited by association, been audited by like health. Yeah. And fine. All good. You know, so as long as you're doing the right things, like those things they scare you a little bit the first time.
Yeah.
Because there's that unknowing. But then
I think they scare you if you're a good person. I think if you did, well, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, maybe, but also the other end of that coin is just like they'd probably scare you if you're doing the wrong thing.
If you cared about jail and
Yeah, if you get
like
about
if
jail.
some people just don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I don't know those people.
No, no, you are clean
Yes.
as a whistle.
Yeah, other than my skin, it's yeah.
That's right. None of them are prison tats, right?
Not yet.
Have you finished that beer?
Yeah.
Poolside?
While you think about your next question.
I'm just checking to see if anyone is. Caradine just sent me a message saying, watching your podcast, where are you big dogs going for a beer afterwards?
Oh yeah, we're already having beers. Is there anything from the audience over here? Any questions you guys have?
Yeah, you might have some interesting perspectives. You got anything you want to know? You can't talk about two things.
No, just go for it.
You also don't have to have a question.
He's got one. Just thinking about how to frame it.
You had offices?
I had a head office.
Yep. In Queensland?
In Queensland, the Sunshine Coast. We were one small office, and then we grew within like 3 months, and I had to get another. Oh, we had a shitty one when we first started. Then I moved into a nice office, and then within 3 months, I had to get another office down the hall because we grew so quickly. And then I didn't like that we're disconnected, even though there was only one office in between. I hated just any separation. So then I waited till another lease came up through COVID, and I bought this huge one.
You bought them?
No, I bought my first shitty one.
Yep.
That was horrific. But then but I made money on it as commercial property. But anyway, then I put us all in a big one, which was bigger than our needs.
I feel like we need that. I feel like there's disconnect with us, like all being scattered everywhere, but it's just like...
Yeah, you need a big fuck off warehouse.
Yep.
Or like all three at that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, question? Do it.
I'm just checking. How long have we been going?
Just over now.
This is what happens when I don't talk.
If you had the opportunity to buy back your business, would you? Do you maybe just want to repeat that into the mic?
So the question from Dylan is if Tyson had an opportunity to buy back the business or into the business?
Yeah, let's say in this theoretical, it's for cheaper than you.
Like if you get
okay.
if they go, we're fucked, we'll give it back to you for 40 cents in the dollar or 30 cents in the dollar. Because that happens, right? We've heard that happen with multiple businesses that we know, where the new owner and irrigation shops, that happens all the time. Private investor comes in, private equity comes in, buys the business, shits the bed. Old owner buys it back to their former glory.
Oh, dang.
Back into the shoes.
Yeah, look, I think I could step back into the shoes. It would just be at what's
You might have had 4 years of waiting or 3 years by then.
one, who's left,
Yeah.
because the big thing for me is the people. So if everyone's turned over, I'm like, I don't have the love for this anymore. I love the people. I didn't really care about
You're trying to catch a falling knife.
Yeah, so like I don't care. Like if everyone was still there, like all the keys and all of my core people who've been with me for fucking like ever, I'd be like, all right, let's do it. But it would have to be at a good price as well. I wouldn't do my ass to do it. I would rather just go, all right, that's gonna go.
We'll just start. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think you could do dietetics
I got
again?
5 year.
Yeah, but say after that's passed.
5
like,
year
does it-
restraint. No.
Yeah.
Well, like Alex McKenna, who gave me one of the questions, and thanks to the text today, Alex. Like she said, she was in admin in our team at Fuel Your Life, and she said, like, what are you gonna do next? I'm like, I don't know. She's like I said, like, I've got a 5 year restraint against dietetics. She's like, well, why would you do dietetics? You've done everything already. And like, that was like the first person to say that to me, and that was pretty fucking cool.
And she probably didn't know what that
it meant.
Not
Yeah.
that it was
No,
pointed, but that like, oh wow, yeah.
Yeah, so that was a really nice moment. And like that helped me because I'm like, yeah, kind of have. As a dietitian, I worked in every industry other than food industry and research. I did research in my master's, but like they were probably two industries, but I did corporate, did aged care, did hospital, did private practice, I did a lot. And then we built the fucking biggest company. So like I have done that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I never had the passion, I guess, for dietetics at the end. It was more around the people and their passion to put them in a position that they wanted. And that's why I think I could do it in any business or industry, because I'm like, it's about the people, not necessarily the product or the service. But I did like nutrition. Like I like, yeah. But yeah.
I think it would be hard if I exited to come back. If it was like,
What, you going backwards?
no, like if I sold Water Pro and then came back, I was like, do I really want to do this again? Like,
Well, if you sold it for 10, get
Yeah.
it for 5.
yeah, I don't know. Like, and further to what you're saying, for me, if I sold it for 10 and bought it back for 5, it would have to still be turning over what it was turning over, which means they're not selling it to you for 5. So you're basically buying it back at market,
Yeah.
which is all you're doing is expressing your skill set again, which you could do in any business
Yeah.
to try and fix it. So if you sold it for 10 and you bought it back for 3, but it was worth 5, maybe.
Yeah, it'd have to be a deal.
Yeah. And they're just like, fuck, we need to get rid of this. Like it's going to keep getting worse and worse and worse. But I don't know. I didn't get into irrigation because I love how water gets applied to lawns. Like I just fell into it, right? And so then you just kind of go to the next thing, go to the next thing, go to this next thing, and all of a sudden you're running a, what is that? 8 figures? $10 million business.
Yeah. 8 figures, yep.
And it's just like this, it just kind of catches up with you and you're like, fuck. Like I wasn't expecting to ever, it's funny because I'm trying to grow a $100 million business, but you get to 10, you're still surprised.
Yeah.
You're like, fuck, that kind of caught up on me because I was excited at 3. I was loving 3.
Yeah.
That's when I thought I'm going to retire,
Now you want 100.
Yeah, I think just for the,
There you go.
it is a big ego play. I think it's also to test if I can do it. And that's why I think I'm so challenged on the potential of having a private investor potentially come in. Because if I have money injected and I then do it, it could...
Did you do it alone?
Or you could just borrow money from the bank and do it, right? Then you're like, well, that's normal business in my mind. The hills are alive.
I was just like, oh.
Kira's password.
Yeah, and like
All
her
of
name.
all of the
like,
bots.
now
The
she's
bots are
known.
like, we're going to take everything. How's the
Another
beer?
Range beer. Poolside. Shout out Range. If you've never tried Range Brewing, go check them out. They release 2 new beers today, every Friday. Go check it. Delicious.
If you're looking for range in South Australia, and even if you're watching this on LinkedIn and you're in the city, the little pub on Hindley Street.
Disgusting pub, but amazing beer.
So the guy that referred...
The guy behind the bar is sick.
he's a
But
good dude, eh?
Drink the beer, don't get...
Yeah, just don't eat the food. Do not get food there. But so the guy that referred us
not
to
financial
that
advice.
pub, he came to the barbecue this morning.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And he's like, what'd you think? And I was like, there was definitely crackheads. Definitely crackheads there. I don't know if you noticed that the chick behind you was vaping inside.
I thought I could smell it.
So we're just sitting there having a drink inside like a dining area and there's just plumes of smoke coming from this chick. I'm just like,
Yeah.
not dragging.
Yeah, no one cares.
What are they going to do?
Well, kick her out.
She bought a drink.
Kick her out. Anyway, do you have any more questions from your notebook, Mr.?
But I had a thought
If someone was going to do this, what would they do? I don't know.
from the Sasha mentorship,
Okay, yep.
Vayner Mentors thing.
Yep.
Do you think that their model suits a specific business more than another business? Like if you were
I
a
think
product business,
Product business, 100%.
Yeah.
Product business.
because of their strength in digital marketing, or there's more.
Yeah,
than that?
I think, but I think it'd be more than that. But I think that's a much easier play, particularly around legalities and knowing industries. Like a product can supersede like anything. So like, yeah, I think product, in my opinion, but you'd have to talk to
James. Is he not?
Marcus,
No, Marcus.
who is now the president.
So Marcus took over from James.
Yep.
And James, this is all public information. This is on LinkedIn.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
James
Marcus
is
took over.
taking a different role.
Yeah. So yeah, but yeah, no, I think if you're going to work with Sasha Group in the States under Gary Vee and all of those things, I think a product based business would work really well. But again, do your own research. But I guess general advice for anyone, I guess starting a business, I think a lot of people have asked me around my goals around the business starting and then the sell and all of that. And I think it was my lack of desire for money, which allowed money to come. And I know it might seem counterintuitive, but because I was focused more on getting the dietitians into more work because that was going to help them, giving them the support and the information that they needed to do their job, setting up their lives to try and make them better, talking to them and having one-on-ones and figuring what their goals are, and then trying to move the business to be able to do that, investing in the areas that the dietitians wanted to do. Like, that allowed the money to come because then they were doing shit that they liked. They became better at those jobs that they liked. And then you keep staff longer. Your business grows and then the money comes. Like, it was a lack of thinking about it, for me at least, that made it happen. And I think in a service-based business in particular, I think because it's people-focused, I think it's pretty important.
Yeah, I think that's fair. As you were saying it, I was thinking, like, for a sports person, if you just do all of the things, like lift the weight, do the throws, putt the putts, shoot the shots, the grand final win comes because you've done the work. And I think you're doing the work is caring about your team, placing them in the right positions to succeed, all that kind of stuff, and the rest kind of comes. And I think the reason we get along so well is because we have a lot of parallel views around that. And then I think that's probably why I feel so safe in business, because I've got all these people. Like, I would hate, and I don't know, these guys probably talk about me behind my back, but I would hate to have this feeling that you walk out of the room and they're like, thank fuck he's gone. I hate him. Like, all this shit that I hear other business owners, staff say about them. Yeah.
And look, you're going to get the occasional cancer, but if
you've got enough healthy cells, they'll kill the cancer. Yeah. And they're gone. Yeah. And we get that here. They're like, that person's not going to last. They need to go. I'm like, what? I thought they were good. And they're like, you should have heard what they said about you.
But no, I agree. I don't know what I was going to say, but it was something good.
Well, we're live, so you can just sit there and think about it.
What were you talking about?
You basically putting your staff in a position to succeed, which brings money, and it wasn't.
So the reason why I started business in the first place, and my strategy over how we were more successful than others, was a lot. I made a little off a lot rather than a lot off a little. So a lot of small business owners, when they're trying to get out of that small business, or because a lot of dietitian companies are 2-3 people generally. When I was working for everyone, they were just trying to make the most money off the individual consults or the most money off me. Instead of thinking long-term and thinking about how it could grow. And they were like, oh, well, I'm going to take money out of the business because I want to go on a trip. I want to buy a bag or whatever. And as a result, they stayed small. I didn't pay shit. I've got Tyson's cribs on my Instagram where I stay in shitty fucking motels, hotels. I'm staying on the train line in bloody Adelaide, a tram line in Adelaide right now. It's just and I made a series of cockroaches. There's a hole in the wall. There's a hole in the wall out to the outside in my place. There's a washing machine that's on 24 hours a day outside my friggin'. I stayed in those shitty things because
you also only
I didn't
fly economy. And
economy.
And you use Ola vouchers when you can. And
I use McDonald's vouchers. Yes, I'm a dietitian, but McDonald's vouchers.
Shake and win.
$5. Shake and win on Hungry Jack's. If I can get a free sundae, I'm going to get it. And that's my lunch. Because
it's one of our only...
Yeah, very, very, very different ways of doing things. But I think my ability to save that money allowed me to then invest more into the people, more into the staff, more into the growth of the business, which allowed us to succeed. Whereas if I was to, this is respectfully for you, to fly business, stay in the fanciest hotels, buy all the shit,
catch wouldn't have had premium Ubers.
Yeah, premium, whatever. Be more comfortable. I was so comfortable with being uncomfortable because I knew what it meant to then what I could do for the team. And I felt if I was being successful and showing this wild world that I'm living in, if anyone even remotely thought that they weren't making enough money, they'd be like, that fucking guy's spending it all on himself. Yeah. So I'd never want that. I would fucking hate that shit. So that's why I continue to do it. And I still do it. And quite honestly, that's just who I am as a
I don't
human.
think it's ever going to change.
I would like to stay in those nice places.
I fight you to be like, we're flying business. And you're like, no.
Yeah, I don't want to fly business. Yeah.
Premium economy.
Yeah, so that shit, I don't know. I think that shit matters. And as a small business owner, you need to be identifying what your staff care about as well, but then also know what they will perceive and make sure that you, match your intention, your actions, your integrity. So you have the respect.
Actions speak louder than words.
Yeah, we were talking yesterday about integrity and respect. And that means a lot to me. It's always did what I said. Always did what I said. And that was why it was so fucking hard about selling.
You didn't have any unfinished business with that?
With what?
With the dietetics business? Like I remember you talking about some projects that you were trying to close and some pretty cool shit.
My practice management software, like that would have saved so much time in the lives of the dietitians and made them all so fucking happy. And I didn't get to integrate it before I sold that. But other than that, no. As I said, I'm not really a regret person. It's just like
sliding doors, like
yeah, it's just it's what it is. Done. Move forward.
Any questions from the audience? Wow, Lawn Hub had a lot more questions. You know what fucking blows my mind? The amount of valuable knowledge that sits in your head, and it would be more driven by the volume of audience because it's different to Lawn Hub.
Yeah.
And the fact that if they wanted to talk to you, that it costs money now.
Yeah, it costs money.
Fuck,
send me a few.
We better get off. I think I'm at $1,700 for this podcast already.
Few shipments of beer, and we can have a conversation. But yeah, look, if you're interested in chatting, you can find my socials. LinkedIn's where I'm heavy, so go on LinkedIn.
And if anyone does have any questions, you can bounce them through to me, and I'll find it. If it's serious and you want to actually understand something about what Tyson did, we'll probably do this again in 6 months, 12 months. Catch up, have some beers, and
see if I've done something with my life.
It feels so bad.
Welcome.
Yeah. I always feel like I want to do like beers and it doesn't feel like a podcast and just sit there and talk.
Yeah, I'll do like John, whatever his name is, that does everyone with I don't know, he's just out in his backyard, his dog's hanging around, he's just fucking outside near a pool, fucking talking.
No shit.
Yeah.
Just on his own.
No, with old mate.
Yeah.
He did it with other people, but yeah, Bonnie's on his own.
Yeah.
It's an intense podcast though. I forget what it's called.
Do you know
Real
what he's
ones?
talking about?
The real ones? Is it? What's his name? Shia LaBeouf did a really famous one with him, and the guys from The Punisher.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in Fury with him and Brad Pitt and shit. Anyway, whatever. We'll talk about it another time.
That's right.
Anyway, that's a bad end to a live podcast. We're ending on a good note, and now you just made me talk about this dumb shit. No.
What is the meaning of life?
What is the meaning of life?
And what is your meaning of life?
What is my meaning of life? Is this going to be your end of podcast question for every single
No,
person?
I was just trying to do that so that we didn't finish on Brad Pitt and shit.
The meaning of life. To me, I don't know. It's just finding something that you like to do every day. I don't know. Like, I think purpose means a lot. And I think now that I have nothing.
It's so dramatic.
Yeah, but it's just my emotions. But yeah, like I think purpose is important, no matter what it is. If it's employee or building your own business or your family or whatever. Like I think purpose in what you do means everything. Whatever that purpose is for you, I don't think there's any individual meaning other than like finding their purpose as an individual. That's my meaning of life.
All right.
In this very off the cuff question.
Wasn't on my notes, but anyway.
That's my authentic answer.
We should be getting out of here because I have to drive and I want to have another beer. Thank you to those of you that tuned in live for Conversations with Clint.
Thank you to my ex-staff for asking questions.
Yeah.
Appreciate
it.
it.
Horrible if I didn't have the support of Tyson's former employees. Fuck. None of my employees asked. You know why? They're busy working. That's what they'd say, right?
Okay.
Thanks for doing this. Hopefully this turns into something really cool, like from I don't know, Conversations with Clint. I don't know. We'll work it out.
Cool. Thank you.
In the den with Clint. If anyone has any more questions, hit me up. I don't think Tyson actually wants to hear from anyone, so don't.
No.
Oh, you
hit
do?
me up just on LinkedIn.
Yeah, LinkedIn.
Don't hit me up on Instagram. LinkedIn.
Yep.
You're not going to get access to my Instagram. Thanks.
Yep. And that is it.
All right. See you guys.
See ya.